So obviously when we recorded this, it was before the recent cancellation of Celebration, and whether it is later next year or later this year, fingers crossed we'll all see you again sometime in Minneapolis. Hi, I'm Chopin from the London meetups, and I'm with...
I'm Lee. I'm one of the founders of Prince Party UK, and we're going to talk about our experiences for Celebration.
And when I say talk about our experiences for Celebration, what I really mean is telling you should go because it's awesome.
Yeah, and this podcast isn't paid for by Paisley Park whatsoever.
Actually, quite the opposite. We're giving them a lot of our money. Yeah, he's like,
oh yeah, we're paying them.
Yeah, that's how good the Celebration is. We spend a lot of money and then advertise.
And
I'm happy to do so.
And don't make money from it.
Exactly. And that's how good the Celebration is. So, yeah.
So you went in 2018. 2018.
So that was the second one.
And I went in 2019.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, the reason I went in 2018, I couldn't go in couldn't go for the 2017 one, but somebody sneaked in a phone and did a live, like a Skype with me from inside Paisley Park, and was
obviously they're now in witness protection or something.
Well, I mean, but they. Can
you give me a clue who it is?
I'm not saying someone with an American.
Right. Okay, I got it.
Phone plan. Anyway,
I think I know the person.
Okay, but they Skyped with me, and all of the other fans that were kind of whispering into the phone, "You should be here. You should be here." And you know what? That little bit of seeing people enjoying the Celebration was just like, I mean, you might as well have just set fire to my bank account right then. It didn't matter. I was going next year. So that's my experience of, that's why I had to go in 2018. I missed out last year. Life gets in the way sometimes. But this year, I'm happy to say I'm going to come back. And if they have another one next year and I'm able to go, I'm going to probably go to that one as well. So Lee, you went in last year, 2019
because I could financially go, because I just literally sold and bought a house, and I promised myself,
is that what it takes to go?
Yeah, no, it's yeah, you could go to Paisley Park, just sell your house. No, so I'd promised myself that I would go. It was just I'd been for a lot of stress because of the sale of the house. It's not very easy, and it was just a very, very stressful time, and I promised that would be my retreat of going there, and I've always wanted to go, and like I said, it's a purple pilgrimage, and every fan wants to go. It's majority of the time it's on a bucket list of any Prince fan, and I went and had one of the best times of my life. It was incredible. It was a lot more easier to arrange, to buy the ticket, to sort out the flights. Transferring in Chicago was a lot easy. There was no travel issues. Uber drivers were great out there.
Minneapolis is a great town.
Minneapolis was a great town. It was very easy to get around once you knew where you was going, who you were going with.
Did you have a snowstorm when you came in?
No, I didn't have. There was no snowstorm.
Yeah, we had a massive snowstorm, so it ended up in Cincinnati for a night, and Paisley Park was closed that first weekend. But arriving into Minneapolis for the first time with April snow was pretty. There was tears as the plane landed. So that was good.
Yeah. No.
But June this year.
So June this year, I can understand obviously the issues that, with weather and stuff in April, and I think everyone's saying, oh, he wouldn't have wanted it on his birthday, and I was like, I don't think it matters. No, wait a minute.
The original celebrations were in June, so yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
the
not
thing is,
lighting
I'd
birthday-
rather it happen and not happen, and I don't really mind when it is. Work wise, I can take the time off if I'm at the moment. I'm don't know if I'm going this year. Really would like to go.
I will say about that June thing is that my friend of mine, a friend of our both, said, who's been going to the celebrations every year. She said, "Well, I'm a Prince fan 365 days a year. Do I take his birthday off?" You know, like, because he didn't celebrate his birthday. So no, I'm still a Prince fan on what would have been his birthday. So like,
and the other thing is with the online community as well. Prince Day is his birthday, and even the day he died, we kind of celebrate. Not that we celebrate it. We call
celebrate
it
his life.
Yeah, we celebrate his life, and both days I consider to be what we call Prince Day, especially on the online community. We celebrate both of them.
In fairness, I don't know about the internet, but my stereo celebrates his life pretty much every day. But at least,
yeah. But let me play more Prince tracks. But no, I had an amazing time in Paisley. I think the American fans were incredibly friendly. People that I knew online, who I'd met for the first time. I got to meet people like Michael Dean, Kanisa, Jesse. All the Musafero girls were great. I had an amazing time. It was always a laugh. There was no problems, no fights, no arguments. Got to see a lot of the UK Prince fan community always bumping into each other, randomly bumping into people in Electric Fetus. All the associated artists were friendly, approachable, had a really good time.
yeah.
Had amazing food out there, just so many cool little stories that still stick with me. And the other thing was, it was a party every night. I think the problem was it was like time to sleep, and it was like, oh, what am I doing today? I'm doing this. Oh, what am I doing in the evening? I'm doing this. Oh, right, have I got time to do this? It was very good to meet people in the real world, and it shows how friendly the Prince community is worldwide. And I've got a lot of new friendships. I'm glad I went. I would definitely love to go again.
I had some wonderful conversations with people that started off with Prince, but then just went off into the wider world and just like you start off because it's a week of people who you have an easy in with, and then you start talking about the world in general and life in general. It's a week of getting very close to people very quickly and making quite an impact on each other in a very short period of time. It's quite an intense week, I would say, but it's really worthwhile and quite life affirming.
Yeah,
that was for me anyway.
And I don't think I've told you this, is that the friendships that I've built within the UK Prince community kind of brought me out of my shell. I was kind of reserved. And through this whole Prince experience the last 10 years, I kind of... Okay, I've got to interrupt you there.
Anybody that see Lee dance to Nasty Girl at any of the Prince parties...
I'm sure there's video footage. I know some people...
pretty hard time believing he's reserved. But go ahead and tell me how you were reserved, Lee.
I was reserved, and now through the Prince experience of...
The power of Prince.
Yeah. I'm more open to meeting new people. I'm a lot more. I can strike up a conversation with someone straight away. Yeah. It kind of brought down my barriers, and like going out to Minneapolis, it was the same experience of like, oh, not afraid to just go up to someone and start talking to them about, hey, what's your favorite Prince album? It's like
I always say one of the,
it was almost like
one of the best things that have happened. One of the only good things that have happened since he passed is each other.
Yes.
In that sense. I mean, yeah, sure, there's, online drama, blah, blah, blah. But actually, in reality, when I look at most of my interactions with people, at concerts, at parties, and even online, actually, I think one of the best things that happened is it became a shorthand.
Yeah.
Going, I know how you feel. And I know what it meant. So it's been if nothing else, it's a week of not having to excuse why you were so bummed out when he passed. Do you know what I mean? Like, or not having to explain why there's still that kind of little drop of melancholy about the fact that he's not touring. You know.
No, and it's almost like, I know in my early days it was almost not embarrassed to be a Prince fan, but you always get the stupid questions or the stupid comments.
Did he have his ribs removed?
Yeah, you get the stupid comments. But now when I share stuff on social media, and especially when I was out in Minneapolis at Paisley, it was like, yeah, it's a big community and it's a pilgrimage and this is the experience, and a lot of people were like, it looked like you had an amazing time, who weren't Prince fans, and it was like, you looked like you had an amazing time out there. And it's kind of like the non-Prince fans get to see the purple bubble of, oh, this is what the world is like.
Yeah, very much so. I know my friends were like, you look like you had the best time. They were kind of like, like, there's a picture of me like kind of with my arms outstretched, like with snow in the background and the egg and Paisley Park in the background, and there is this, I will say, iridescent glow of happy on my face, and everybody, you know, like everybody kind of comments underneath it. You say,
yeah,
I know exactly what this means to you. It's great.
Yeah, but the way I kind of how do I describe it? It was more of like, all right, Elvis fans have got Graceland, and dare I even say Dolly Parton have got Dolly. Do people go to Dolly Parton? Yeah, it's that
Dollywood.
Dollywood.
You're talking about Dollywood, and you know what? People go to Dollywood.
Yeah.
People go to that. It's an amusement park. It's an actual working amusement park.
Yeah.
And Dollywood. All I say is,
but is there any? Well, obviously, well, I suppose there's an equivalent in the UK of tourists coming to the UK and going to Abbey Road, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's that, you know, having their photograph taken in front of.
And they have events in there where you can go and watch a film in there with the score being played live, and then you go and see like the Lady Madonna piano and stuff like that. So there's a similar thing
within fan communities, yeah.
And people go up to Liverpool to go to Strawberry Fields and the Tavern Inn or whatever it's called.
Yeah. But yes, and that's the way. But I don't know if it's the same for American fans. But in the UK, where it's like, oh, I'm going to America, it's like, oh, where are you going? I'm going Minneapolis, and everyone's like, what are you going there for? And I'm like, and it's literally, and I will get this made. It's the T-shirt. It's a Prince thing. You wouldn't understand. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to Minneapolis. What are you going to Minneapolis? It's a Prince thing. It's a Prince thing, and it's like, that's all I say now. It's like a Prince. Oh, okay, it's a Prince thing. I understand now. But I don't know if it's the same for American fans. It's like, oh yeah, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Minneapolis. I don't know if it's the same, but yeah, because everyone's expecting you to say, oh, New York, LA. Boston, Atlanta.
But to me, Minneapolis has always been one of those. Was always one of those bucket list places of. To me, you know, like some people go to Detroit for Motown. You know, to me, Minneapolis has always been a cultural center. San Francisco, you go there for the hippie vibes, Santana, vibes, and LA, you know, for Hollywood, but. Minneapolis has always, in my head, has always been a cultural. Oh, I got to go to First Avenue. Got to go to Paisley Park. You know, that's.
Yeah, and like I said, the things that I'd like to go if I do go back out there would be to do all the Janet stuff.
Yeah.
That would be because I forget, and the thing is, it was only within. When I was younger, I had the Janet Rhythm Nation album, and I was a massive Janet Jackson fan. And it was only later on in my life that I realised, oh, there's a Prince connection with Jimmy Jam and Terry. It was like, oh, right. And it was like, so my whole music taste was based around the Minneapolis sound, and I didn't really know it. There's always been a connection, or music that I preferred had always come from there. And I think I've said it before, my very first vinyl record I ever bought was Shaka Khan, I Feel For You. It was that, and not knowing it was a Prince track way back then, and it was like it was always there. And so culturally, I think if I go back,
he's part of your musical DNA.
Yeah, it's part of my music DNA without even me knowing about it. But for me to go back, I need to appreciate the other stuff as well as the Prince stuff, the other stuff about the Minneapolis sound.
Well, for me, there was always that thing with like. Before I was a Prince fan, I was a massive Madonna fan, and and my favorite album is Like a Prayer, and he's all over that. You got love. Not only is a love song, but they've got the guitar in Like a Prayer, bass parts in Keep It Together. His guitar's all over the remixes, and it was just. I think when I became a Prince fan, it was kind of like, Neo seeing the Matrix. It was just like, oh, suddenly Purple Rain, not like the green zeros and ones. It's suddenly
I'm so good at Photoshop.
purple zeros and ones. Oh,
the Purple my God. Matrix, yeah.
That's why he's so good. But so that's why you should go to the celebration. Have you made up your mind whether you're going or not?
I don't know yet. I hope to go. I had an amazing time when I was out there. I had an absolute blast in last April. Really enjoyed myself, made loads of new friends. Didn't realise with Celebration it's more about the events that happen around Celebration away from Paisley Park than... My whole image was, it was Paisley Park only, and it's the days there.
No, the town goes nuts for a week.
And then I absolutely had a blast. I loved it. I remember being in Perkins Pancake Place with Jesse, Michael Dean, so many people out there, and it was like 3 or 4 a.m. And it was just like a Prince conga going round. There was like pancakes with purple cream and I just remember, I think I was live streaming it. I think all the UK people were like, this guy is nuts. And it was I had an absolute blast out there.
The year before that, there was a symposium and they had starfish cookies with coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you had starfish and coffee. It was so cool. I went the 2018 and I'm back this year for the
June.
They've got another symposium and I'm going to go to the celebration again. I'm going to be in town for the whole thing. And go, even if it's not Celebration, go to Paisley Park. It's amazing.
But this is what I didn't realise. A lot of people go to Minneapolis and not necessarily go to Celebration. They go to all the parties.
I think there's lots of people that would like to go to they're there for that week and would like to go to Paisley Park on one of the other days outside of Celebration. I think they're missing a trick not being open there. I remember to keep on saying to Kat, I'd see Kat everywhere, Kat, Sarah, and Neil and some other people, and I'd be like, at what point do I sleep? On the plane home.
It was on the plane
home. The answer is on the plane home.
But it was like Prince party. So obviously we've had our own Prince parties. It was like a Prince party every night. And it was like... And the thing is, the one thing I learned, and I've not really done it this year, is plan your days before you go. I had a calendar of each party.
You still won't do it all.
Yeah, and I think we managed to... On the last day, we managed to fit in Electric Fetus and the Purple Rain House. We managed to fit on the last day, and we went there before we got the plane.
I never got to see the Purple Rain House.
But then the other thing that I'd like to go, if I do go back out there, the thing I'd like to do is because obviously I'm a Janet fan. I'd like to do all the
Flight Time Studios.
Yeah, I'd like to do the Janet stuff that I didn't even enter my brain when I was out there. It was only recently with all the Janet news. It was like, oh right, I need to
go do that.
I need to go do that.
I need to do that. I need to do the Arboretum, Purple Rain House, Calhoun Square.
The only other thing I didn't do was First Avenue. I didn't do the First Avenue tour, which I regret.
I didn't do the First Avenue tour or the Capri tour. Jesus.
But I remember...
It sounds like I didn't do anything. But
but there were certain things I had in my head of like do all this, and I think there was only a few bits that I didn't get to do. But no, I'm talking about it now. I'm trying to convince myself I'm not into going now. But yeah, I had it was a life-changing experience. Absolutely had a blast. So much fun and just food and music and meeting new people, and every night being a party, and every night being Prince music, and again, it was like going to my first Prince party. It was like, hey, you know that song? I only know that song. It was, and it's kind of like the Prince parties that we have in the UK, but on steroids in America. It's in Minneapolis. It
but
was
with
just
some of the same people.
But it was like I bumped into someone that I hadn't heard of from the UK that I hadn't seen for a while. And I bumped into him randomly at something. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And it was crazy.
It's an amazing week. It's an amazing week to be in Minneapolis when that celebration.
Oh, and to add, to complete my MPG bingo, I don't know if you count. I don't know if you count Rosie Gaines. I don't know if that.
Of course you do.
Yeah, Rosie Gaines. So I'm missing. So I managed to get all of MPG apart from I'm missing Tommy Barbarella and Rosie Gaines, but I managed to meet everyone else.
Michael Bland?
Michael Bland was the second from last night, where he was on stage at Bunkers.
That to me is an essential. Kind of see Dr. Mambo's combo Bunkers.
Yeah, so we got there and he was still on stage, and I went up to him and I was like, I need a picture of you to complete my MPG bingo. And he's like, what? Looking at me crazy. And I'm like, no, I kind of met everyone. I said, but I haven't got a picture of you. And he's laughing, and then me and him took a picture. So it was kind of funny. Sonny T thought it was hilarious. And I told Tony M when we met him, we did the meet and greet, but we didn't go to see them because they were performing at First Avenue, but we did the meet and greet, I think, on the Wednesday. And me and Tony M just hit it off straight away because I ran up to him and said, "You're my spirit animal," and he just thought I was crazy. And I think he was talking to Damon on the phone, and he's like, "You got to meet this crazy fan." No, I have some very, very good memories out there, and I think, if I go again, it will just be just as good. And
yeah,
so
I had a wonderful time meeting Stacia Lang.
Yeah,
Prince's designer. She was amazing. Just meeting so many.
But that's the other thing, is
just the other fans. It was just a joy to be around other fans, and it's really weird how people
there's no barriers. It's everyone's just. It's like, you're a Prince fan. It's kind of like that meme of Step Brothers of Will Ferrell.
Without the weird stuff.
It's like, hey, you like Prince? I like Prince. Did we just become best friends? It's almost like that, but instantaneous.
I met some wonderful, truly wonderful people out there. It was, and I just go.
Yeah, go.
Just go.
We're selling it for.
Yeah.
What was it?
It's if you love Prince music, just go.
Yeah, so the other thing is how approachable some of the MPG and Prince associated artists, how there's no security or anything like that. You can just literally hang out with them.
I wouldn't advertise that. I mean,
no,
not
but
everybody's a wonderful
there's none of them. Everyone embraces the fans. There's no, oh, don't talk to me now, talk to me later. Everyone is approachable.
Yeah.
I think one night, I think it was a Saturday night, there was a group of us and we were in a nightclub and we were hanging out with Kirky J. We was hanging out with Kirk, and he was like, "Oh yeah, help yourself to food." And it was like, we was this whole section, and then Ida turned up, and
I found myself just randomly having a conversation with Gail Chapman, Prince's keyboardist,
And then when we was at Paisley, it's like Shelby just came up to us and was dancing right next to us. It was no one mistreats the fans. No artist or associated artist mistreats the fans. They're all approachable.
So don't kind of sit in the corner being kind of
everyone is very relaxed. Everyone is very chilled, and and it was like, I think the first night, Ingrid Chavez was we was in a club called Honey, and it was what's his name's birthday.
I know.
And that was the first night. It was like, oh yeah, there's this party, Honey, and it was like in a basement, and we was
DJ Lenka as well.
Yeah, she was amazing. The whole, I'm sure I've got a video of me fist bumping her when she did some mix of Race into what was it? Right, it was 2 tracks on Come, and she literally just mixed them together. Yeah, I think it was like Pheromone and then Race, and she just literally mixed it. And it was like, oh my God, she's amazing. So, yeah, she's very cool. But this is it. You kind of, people you know online and social media, you know of them within the Prince community, and then you get to meet them.
Yeah. And there was some people that live in Minneapolis. I
think this could be a separate episode.
And yeah, that could be a similar Prince fans that actually live in Minneapolis, and how cool they are too.
Yeah, and how cool, and how they welcome Prince fans from around the world, and
how every cab driver has a Prince story.
Yeah. Oh, was it you that's like, oh,
yeah,
he was
I was
in the
an extra in the Sexy Motherfucker video. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, so have you ever been to Paisley Park? Yeah, I was an extra in a video. Which one? Sexy MF?
Hold on, let's watch the video. Where exactly are you? What frame? Let me slow it down.
I think he was in the background, which we
talked about this, didn't we? We talked about how at Paisley it'd be really cool if you went to the garage.
Paisley Park. I know you don't want people traipsing through his private rooms upstairs. I get it, but setting up the cars in the garage, especially so you can do photo ops like in the basement with the cars. That would be epic. Like walking through the garage with the cars, all of the cars on display, like a Paisley Park car show.
No, because they had some of the cars when I was.
I think they have them on the main stage. A couple on the main stage.
Yeah, they swapped them out. I'm trying to figure out how they do that. How do they swap the cars out? I don't know. It was
that massive loading dock, how they got stages in and out. Paisley Park is a working soundstage.
Yeah.
You remember the big doors that go into the MPG Music Club?
Yeah,
there's also big doors that go out.
Get off, isn't it?
There's massive, also behind the stage and the screen and everything. There's massive doors and that out there. It's like proper loading docks that they could get film sets in and out.
So this is the other thing that's come up within the last couple
of weeks. A car is no problem. And in fact, do you remember the Ride Divine?
Yeah, the Ride Divine.
He drives in.
Yeah,
he drives in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
He drives in through those doors that you walk into.
But this is it though. You're there and you forget. I remember being in the main stage and you forget. Oh, this is where he filmed this. This is where he filmed that. This is where he filmed this. And then you're looking around. It's like, and you kind of see it. It's like the doors for Get Off.
Yeah.
And you just remember Diamond and Pearl just walking up and. You forget how iconic it is, and you kind of you're really like, I'm here, and then also with like the symbol light that was in the corner, which was from Rave, and I'm like, and the thing is, it's still there. It was like, oh wow, they've still got it. And
on the stairs in the music club, room, you've got the Sign of the Time grill to the car.
Yeah, and then obviously the
horse from Glam Slam Ulysses.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then the MPG Music Club on the floor, and you forget what was the music video?
Rock and Roll Love
Affair, and you're like, oh yeah, that was filmed here, and you forget, and then you appreciate the history, and that's the other thing of like. When you're there for the first day or so, you kind of shell shocked because it's like, oh, I'm here. And I remember going there and I touched Paisley Park and I burst into tears because it was like, I'm finally here, because I wanted to go since I was 14, 15. Yeah. And I remember that I was desperate to go. I wanted to celebrate the year 2000 at Paisley Park, and I was like, I was desperate, and it just didn't happen. Because obviously I knew that Lenny Kravitz was performing with him as well, and I'm like, oh, I'm a big Lenny fan. I'd love to see that. But yeah, and then just going there, it was and I always, and I know some people have said it's a purple pilgrimage of going there. Every Prince fan dreams of going there, and it's like a bucket list kind of thing. And I'm really glad that I did it.
I'm also glad that they're doing things like the Beck session and stuff, that it's actually a working studio still. I'm very happy about that.
Right. So this is the other thing that's come up.
Justin Timberlake apparently recorded there as well. So I think somebody said that Justin Timberlake did a session there as well. I'm happy that they're using it as a studio.
Yeah, and I think they're doing something with some local schools. I could be wrong.
Which is fantastic.
Which I think a lot of fans have said and appreciated.
I thought that was really good.
That they should open it up to schools and talk about...
Well, that was another one of the cab drivers just said, yeah, my wife teaches at a school, and Prince bought all of the instruments and just basically kitted out the music department.
But that's another thing you could do in terms of local stories, like the local Prince, and you just interview local people and they tell them kind of little stories.
Yeah.
That would be great. The other thing I was going to talk about or mention, I know it's come up in the last couple of days, last 2 weeks, about how article that's come out that they're going to open up Paisley Park to photography and alcohol. And some fans was like, oh, he wouldn't have wanted... Again, it goes back to the whole, he wouldn't have wanted that. But for me, I think opening it up to photography... Yeah, I can understand where some fans are coming from, but from me tech head, social media guy, it just opens it up a lot more to fans sharing their experience, and then other fans will then see that, and then they'll go next year, because that's what happened with me. So when I was out there in April, and I was sharing a lot of video and I was sharing a lot of pictures, not of Paisley Park, but of the whole experience outside. And I organised my gallery and everything like that. And a lot of people were like, I'm going next year because it looks like you had such a good experience. So you're getting fans to market the next year's celebration, if that makes sense.
Exactly. If there's a load of clips of you guys like screaming and licking the fun, it's...
Yeah, it's like the famous clip of Nigel dropping the cake. It was like...
That made me want to go the next year.
Because it was our friends, our mutual friends... sharing an experience with one of our other friends on his birthday, and that moment actually got picked up by local news, and recently I've reshared it, and it was like, oh right. And I think embracing photography, people are going to be able to share their experience. I know he probably wouldn't have wanted that, but you get to see it through other friends' eyes, if that makes sense.
I think a lot of what he wanted at the time was more to do with the fact that at the time it was his house.
But is the flip side to that is, okay, mate...
I meant that with the photography rather than the alcohol, right? I think the alcohol thing, I get it because he didn't want drunk fans puking all over his beautiful soundstage. Because that's where he's working. He doesn't want to be walked past like a pile of bath on his way out to the car. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
That's why he's not serving drinks, his thing. Photography, I think it's a good thing. It's a great thing. It is what it is now. It is a kind of living museum. In a way.
I think it's a museum, but it's got some.
They're working on creating a life for it, so that's great. I also, the alcohol thing. I guess the reason I don't care is not that I don't care. That's not wrong. That's not wrong. I mean, if you ask me, that wasn't the kind of thing he wanted. But part of me is like, does it keep the place open?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that.
And also, does my opinion matter that much that they should be concerned about it? Would I stop going if they served alcohol? If I found out that there was alcohol being poured at the celebration, does that make a decision? Yeah, exactly. Would that change my going to it? No. Probably not. As long as they've got sensible staff that aren't like just basically pouring shot upon shot on somebody that's really drunk. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm very lackadaisical in that. For me personally, you remember Prince how you want to remember Prince. I'll remember Prince how I want to remember Prince. If your remembrance is having a glass of wine outside, like outside Paisley Park, cool, that's your bag. That's not my bag. I probably would never drink alcohol in there. I mean, I'm not a big drinker anyway, but I don't think I would drink alcohol in there. Personally, it would be like... It's a place where I want to be sober and I want to take it all in. But other people, it's different. That's going to enhance their experience. So I'm going to leave that to everybody else's personal choice. If fans are really that upset about the idea of alcohol being served there, they won't sell any, right?
And I think
You know, and so if they
It's
put on
money, it's
alcohol,
revenue.
if they put on alcohol 1 year and nobody buys any, well, then they won't do it the next year.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but if people do buy it, then people aren't that upset about, you know, it happening. So for that one, I kind of.
You've only been once, haven't you? Not been.
I've only been once. This will be the second time, so I'll be a 50%er.
No, I'm just curious. It'll be interesting to see how different the experience is going to be this year to last year.
And I know people that have been this will be their fourth year. You know, they've been every year. They repeat, and I would say to Paisley Park, to those people that have done Celebration 4 years, you've got their email addresses. Go ask them.
I think that's what they do. There's a survey.
A survey.
There was a survey at the end of what would you do?
And to me, the answer on my survey is 90s Prince concert. And none of this 45 minutes of footage. I want to see the full thing. If the full video is 45 minutes, sure, but there is nothing worse than 45 minutes into a grooving show, 45 minutes in, having it turned off and go, now you've got to go to another room. It's like, damn you, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah,
so like, it's
again rubbing your arm going, you got more of that.
yeah, exactly. This is a conversation that we could talk about for hours and hours and hours, sharing stories and how great it was, and you know, and sometimes repeating the same points over and over again just to emphasize that they deserve repeating time and time again. But I would encourage everybody to go if you can.
Is it worth it? Yes.
It's worth it, yes, if you can.
Yeah.
You know, the world is what it is, and the reality is not everybody can go. But if you ever get the opportunity, I would say go and support it. And you can support it in other ways by, you know, just buying off the estate shop and stuff like that. But I would say support Paisley Park any way you can, because it's an important place. You want to keep those doors open.
Yeah. And if you don't get to go, there's always hopefully next year. Yeah. I thought it was worth it. I had an incredible experience. It's a life changing experience. It's a very positive. It was a very positive experience, and hopefully I get to go this year. If I do, it will be documented well. And there'll be lots of photos and there'll be lots of videos.
Yeah, I found it a life-affirming, you know, this life-changing, I found it life-affirming experience. It was, well, I don't know if I'm stuck for words or just having a moment.
He was like,
a moment.
Chopin's currently in Minneapolis at the moment. Please leave a message. It was like your brain literally just like booked the flight, went.
Do you know what? And the week running up to the celebration.
It's like the scene from Doctor Strange. You kind of astro projected yourself outside Paisley Park.
Do you know what? And the week running up to a celebration, that is pretty much my experience.
It's all the different combinations of what could happen at Paisley Park. It's like, yeah, I experienced them all. Which one did you enjoy? All of them.
Yeah, here's what I hope. I'm literally hoping to walk through the door and they're showing the full Gold Experience Wembley show.
That would be amazing.
Oh my god, they have to show that show at some point. The more years I keep going, the more likely it is they're going to show a 1995 Gold Tour show. But
this is it though. If you don't, and this is what's worrying me about going this year, is that if I don't go this year, I'm going to see it, and especially this year with the photography and everything opened up, it's going to be like, oh, I wish I'd gone.
I tell you, when
I'll be getting all the Skype calls, will be like, Lee, we miss you.
I tell you what, the most generous, loving, and cruelest and most wicked thing anybody ever done was they Skyped me from inside Paisley Park. It was such a generous, loving act, but it was also like, oh my god, tearing myself. Why am I not there?
Yeah.
But what they really did was kick my ass in gear to go the next year. So
Yeah, I think it was the same
and
for me.
I think what you're going to see is this year people are going to go. They're going to show what it's actually like, and the next year people are going to go right, because at the moment it's up for debate what happens in that room, and it's word of mouth, and it's like kind of
I think
is it worth
I think it's going to be a lot
it?
more open this year, and a lot more people are going to see what it's like, and hopefully that encourages more people to go.
And you can see that the celebration is more than just the lineup, like of live acts. The celebration is also
The city and what goes on outside,
and also the conversations and happiness that happens in that room, aside from the actual performance. It's all the it's everybody kind of. I mean, the one thing I hope they continue doing is the unreleased live footage. That is, to me, that was the reason that made it worth the ticket. I don't want to be mean or ungenerous to the live acts, because the live acts were stunning. The new.
We got to see Revolution and Jesse Johnson and I can't remember.
True Funk Soldiers.
True Funk Soldiers. Yeah.
They were amazing. True Funk Soldiers were amazing. We got to see them. We had an F Deluxe.
We did the Q&A as well with them.
F Deluxe Sheila. It was wonderful seeing those acts. It was wonderful hearing the panelists and the people that worked there and the stories. But the thing that really made it really special for me was the footage, especially that Paisley Park piano and microphone footage. That was otherworldly, watching that there, and I hope that gets released. I think that people deserve to see that. That deserves a wider release. That Paisley Park piano and microphone gig, that footage they showed us was stunning, and they were handing out tissues before you went in, and I was like, yeah. I don't need a tissue.
Well, that was the other thing. Yeah, it was I forgot about the tissues. Yeah, they were handing out tissues
and you're like, nah, I don't need that. Cut to 20 seconds after the piano microphone footage starts.
Shortage of there'll be a shortage of tissues.
Why didn't I grab a tissue? Yeah. So that's the other advice for celebration: grab a tissue. Anyway, go if you can. If you can't, support it in other ways. And sometimes supporting it is giving good suggestions.
Yeah.
Right. You don't always have to be positive or, you don't always have to agree with everything that's going on, because I think a wide discussion is always good. But frame it in the way that you want to help it rather than hinder it.
And the other thing to say is that you don't, and this is the thing I didn't realise, is you don't have to necessarily go to Paisley Park. It is the whole experience outside of that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of parties, there's a lot of stuff that you can find online, and it's an incredible experience, and hopefully at some point you will get to go. So thank you for listening. Hopefully it wasn't too much, and hopefully we've persuaded you in some way. If not, we've done a terrible job. And I apologise.
Yes, our goal was to indoctrinate you. This whole thing. No, I mean,
you will go to Paisley Park. Here you go.
All opinions respected.
Yes, exactly.
At the end of the day, and enjoy your celebration. Run up.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.